only 3% of those small business people, you keep talking about all the small business people that are going to get taxed, only 3% would be affected by that. Or do you quarrel with that figure? Is that a right figure or a wrong figure?
Well, it may be 3%, but it's half of small business income because obviously the top 3% have half of the gross income for those companies that we would term small businesses.
So how do they decide which companies they would term small businesses? H&R Block told Politico it has 1.5 million small business clients, but extending the Bush tax cuts for the rich would benefit fewer than 0.5% of them. According to the Joint Committee on Taxation, fewer than 750,000 people, 1/4% of the country, would be affected by the top rate. So how small can this top 3% of small businesses be if they make half the small business money?
And let's remember the context back then.
Dave Camp knows. He is the ranking Republican member on the House Ways and Means Committee. To him, the definition of small business is a footnote, literally. According to the Joint Committee on Taxation, 94% of all U.S. businesses in 2007 were S corporations, partnerships, or sole proprietorships, pass-through business types commonly used by small businesses. They call them pass-through companies because they file no taxes, passing through profits to the owners who report them on their individual tax returns instead. In short, they are considered small, not because they have a small payroll, but because they have a small number of owners. It's not the income that's small, it's not the number of employees that's small, it's just the total number of owners that's small. In the case of S-Corps, up to 100 owners.
My colleagues and I have been listening.
When politicians talk about small businesses, they are including any company that pays taxes as a pass-through. House Democrats last week identified 3 limited partnerships that file as pass-throughs: a pipeline company called Enterprise, the Wall Street firm Kohlberg, Kravis & Roberts, and the accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers. The Koch brothers' own website lists partnership after partnership after partnership that make up a small business empire of 70,000 employees. According to the Washington Post, more than 1 million people who reported at least $200,000 in income in 2008 were partnerships and S-Corps. The richer you are, the more likely you are to call yourself a small business that way. 89% of Americans who make more than $10 million a year filed as a partnership or as an S-Corp. In 2008, more than 500,000 of these supposed small businesses had more than $1 million in assets. In 2005, almost 20,000 of them had annual receipts of more than $50 million. But if you want to know which companies these are, you are out of luck, because individual tax filings are not public record. Still, some have revealed themselves. The S-Corp Association lobbying group is chaired by an executive of the Hillman Company, a small business founded by a billionaire. The S-Corp Group president is from Venn Strategies, a small business whose chief operating officer is a former special assistant to President Bush, whose president used to work for Senate Leader Reid. Directors of the S-Corp Group come from Farrell Gas, which provides propane and propane accessories with a small business touch to 1 million customers. A small business. Coors Tech, North America's largest maker of technical ceramics, a small business founded by Adolf Coors. A small business. The Dead River Company, a small business with 1,200 employees, $500 million in annual revenue, and commercial real estate valued at $300 million. A small business. And a small business called McElhaney. The McElhaney family selling their Tabasco brand pepper sauce out of their kitchen to 160 countries. A small business. The Boston Globe revealed in 2007 that Fidelity Investments was becoming an S-Corp, a move that saved this small business hundreds of millions of dollars. Similar to how a scrappy little newspaper called the Tribune, as in the Chicago Tribune, made an extra $1.9 billion by converting to S-Corp status in 2008. As tax reporter David K. Johnston figured out, other companies get revealed as S-Corps when their filings become evidence in tax trials. That's how he identified one of the biggest small businesses in the world. Bechtel, a small business that builds airports, seaports, railroads, oil refineries, nuclear power plants. But back when it was just ye old Bechtel shoppy, they built the Hoover Dam. And today, 49,000 employees, $31 billion in revenue, the world's #1 engineering and construction firm, a small business.